Hello. My name is Jessica. Today is December 11th, 2011, and welcome to another one of my videos. I know, I gotta stop these things. And one of these days, you're not gonna hear from me for like 2-3 weeks. You're gonna be like, Jessica, Ned, why haven't you made a video? And I'll be like, hey, I told you, I'm only gonna make videos when something important really happens. Gosh darn it, another thing happened, really important. And some of you guys might actually, folks, might find this helpful, whether you're, transgendered or cisgendered. And this ain't gonna really matter. This does involve a bunch of legal information, and I'm not giving legal. Me no hablo no inglo information. No. No advice. All right, so. I will not give legal advice. I'm not going to answer. If you have a question about this, I'm telling you what I did in the video. When you play the video a couple times, check with your local laws, your county, your state. Obviously, I live in Texas, and Texas is, especially for transgendered like myself, and excuse my voice. My throat is super sore. I don't know. I have no idea. So, I don't know if I overheard it practicing or not. But anyway, Texas is very, very strict. Even for a name change, I got to go in front of a judge. I got to do this, got to do that. Got to prove to the judge. And so I was actually at this job seminar, and one of the ladies asked, what name do I put on the application when I go file for a job or on my resume? And the answer is pretty much, how hungry are you for the job? I mean, job market doesn't always hire transgendered. So, and some do, but, if you want to be called Michelle, if you want to be called Melissa, whatever you want to be called, if you want to put that on your resume, go for it. Do it. If you're really hungry and starving and you're about ready to get kicked out of your house, you might want to use your male persona until you get the job and then close it out later. And then another lady asked, well, what if I haven't had the name change yet? Kind of a loophole for that, which is interesting. This is for some states, surprisingly Texas, this works. You see movies like this all the time, and not like this, but in the movie, the parents are all happy. They got their kids. They go hire Bozo the Clown, all right, for the kid's birthday party. Okay, now you imagine when the birthday parties are over with, the parents, they got to write the check out, pay to the order of Bozo the Clown. Okay, now, does Bozo the Clown actually have that name? Was he born with the name Bozo the Clown? I mean, it's probably a pretty trademark name. Probably different names, but it's just an example. But yeah, you just write out the check, and he's able to go to his bank and cash it legally, because whoever his name or her name is, registered with the state, with the local county, to do business as. They call it a DBA, doing business as. So, like I said, I'm not ready for a name change yet. I gotta get, I'm not ready to be in front of a judge, all that. But, and a couple months ago, remember I went to or last month, I went to the shopping mall, and the lady said, you know what, we can't take your husband's ID, and then I went and got, checks. I blocked out stuff. It says Michael A. and Jessica A. on them. Even though it says Jessica A., I wasn't allowed, or I'm not allowed, I don't even think even now I'm allowed to sign it, Jessica A. But I am one step closer. I went to the county clerk's office at the county courthouse. Like I said, check your local information. I'm just telling you what I did. Okay? So don't start, hey, I live in this state. What do I need to do? Go to your county clerk's office. Call your courthouse. They'll be able to answer you. All right? This is going way beyond my head. I'm just sharing what I did. And in my county, they actually have a form called an Assumed Name Record Certificate of Ownership. This is for an unincorporated business or profession. As you can see, I blocked out a bunch of stuff. My business name is Jessica Annette. If my last name is Wilkerson, just imagine Wilkerson at the end. It's not Wilkerson, but you can imagine. You know, in the great state of Texas, you know, I blocked out my address. I only did it for 1 year because I wasn't even too sure how to do all this. And if I goofed it up, I didn't want to tie my name up for more than a year. So I could have done it longer, but I only did it there. And obviously, and down here it's hard to read, but a proprietorship, sole practitioner. Your forms could probably be different in your county. I chose self-practitioner. I should have picked the proprietorship. I didn't, but my bank was still able to work with it, and I'll explain about that in a minute. But obviously, Michael Anthony Wilkerson or whatever, you know, I had to sign it. The address blocked out, blah, blah. Had to get it notarized to make sure it was me, you know, registering this doing business as. That's all it is. It's assumed name. I'm taking on an assumed name. Doing business as. Your county might be different. What do they call that thing? Alias. Why that name always strikes me, but yeah, it's like an alias. This doesn't involve putting it on. It doesn't involve changing the name. But anyway, so I got Jessica Annette Wilkerson, or whatever you want, registered as a DBA, doing business as, at the county courthouse. Next thing I did, because I need to tie this in to me, even though it is at the courthouse, it's not with the Social Security number. Okay, so we're all in the United States have a Social Security number. I wanted to tie this in with the same Social Security number. So what I did is I went to a bank. My bank wanted way too much. You got to check with your banks. My bank I already had want $5,000 a day minimum balance in my account, or they were going to charge me $15 a month for a business account. Because now I got a doing business as name, I can open up a business account. This doesn't involve having a business license. This doesn't involve any of that. Check with your local. That's what I said. Check with your local information. All right. And I told them, you know what? Hey, this is so people can contract me out. If somebody wants to hire me and contract me out to do a lecture, you know, they can pay me as Jessica Annette. If I give a lecture like this as Michael Anthony, they probably don't want to pay me. And obviously, I'm talking about later. So anyway, I found a bank, a different bank. They only wanted $250 minimum, and they won't charge me. So I put X amount of dollars in the bank. I won't disclose how much. But it also made sense to me. But anyway, I started a business account. Again, I got stuff blocked out. But you can pretty much see on the main things over here, you know, I had to sign it, Michael Anthony Wilkerson or whatever. And then, you know, down over here, Jessica Annette. I had to sign it, both Michael and Jessica. And it ties it in to the tax ID number, which I blocked out, obviously. This is a business account. And if you look way, way up over here, it does say, and it's kind of blurry, I know, Michael Anthony doing business as DBA, Jessica Annette. Okay? Those are going to be on my business checks. So now, when I have my business check, I can sign it Jessica Annette. And if they ask for my ID, and I show them my Michael Anthony ID, it's like, hello, Michael Anthony doing business as Jessica Annette. I'm doing business as Jessica Annette. And I recently, woohoo, bought this, JessicaAnnette.com, which I haven't done nothing with yet. It's not clickable, but there it is. I'll probably put a blog up in there eventually. I just wanted to reserve it. Might as well. But yeah, it's sole proprietorship. I mean, hey, it makes sense. Now I'm sort of, and you know, it does make a lot of sense. Now I'm actually treating my transition like a business. Okay, now, hear me out, because, you know, there's different expenses that you got to pay. Now, because this is a business, you're not going to want to use write-offs. You don't want to, you know, I got costs. I got therapists. I got estrogen. You know, my medications. You know, gas to go to the doctor. There's a bunch. I'm not going to write those off. I'm not going to use those as a tax write-off. Do not use estrogen as a tax write-off. There's obvious moments that you want not do. Okay, so don't ask me stupid questions. I'm not going to, but this is going to be able to keep track of my expenses. I mean, it'll be like a glorified savings account. Even though I'm registered to do business as, this would be like Jessica's own little fund, where I could take out, for the therapist, set aside money for the therapist, for the estrogen, for the gas to go to the doctor, for a new blouse. Jessica's got her own little business account, so to speak. But like I said, don't be starting to use tax write-offs. The only tax write-off this account would legally have, I would imagine, is if the bank started charging me a month fee. And that's one thing, I think my Chase bank said that, it's $15 a month, but you can write that off as a tax expense. It's like, no, I don't want to go through that hassle. I just don't want to be charged per month. So that's why I went with this bank. Anyway, I opened up an account, doing business as, because I am registered over here in the county clerk's office, the county courthouse. It's filed. I was able to open a business, doing business as. Now my checks will have Michael Anthony doing business as, and it's all legal. I will keep both copies of these, well, not these, but my courthouse document, I will keep a copy in my purse just in case, cops or anything else want to harass me about that. Now, as far as using my checks, I don't think I'm going to be able to use these. But even though it says Jessica A, you got to remember, when I registered up here, it says Jessica Annette. It doesn't say Jessica Annette on my check. It says Jessica A. So, this was a way to tie in the name with my social security number, which is way down there, all blocked out. So now, if I go get another job, believe me, they're going to do a background check. Jessica Annette, my business name, or my doing business as assumed name, is going to show up on my credit report. So get ready to explain that. If somebody runs a background check on you, and you pick that, you do this. This ain't no, this ain't no loophole you can get around. It's documented. So if somebody wants to sue, like me, Jessica Annette, they know through the courthouse and through everything else, they come over and sue Michael Anthony. This ain't no. There's just small little loopholes, right? Bozo the Clown used. If you're a drag performer, maybe you have the name Luscious Candy, as a drag performer, and your bar wants to pay Luscious Candy a paycheck because they contracted her out to do a performance. Luscious Candy can go to her bank. I'm just saying. I mean, there's many different examples, many reasons why you would do something like this without legally changing your name. For me, because I live in Texas, Texas is very strict. It's with the marker, especially, the male, female marker. But especially with that, but also with the name change, because I'll have to go in front of a judge. It's like now, if I decide a year from now, which I'm gonna, that's why I wanted to do this for a year, I can do business as Jessica Annette. But now, in a year's time, I can go to the front of a judge and say, you know what, we need to change my name. I've been doing business as blah blah for a year legally. I've been on, here's my I am, blah. And this ain't fraud. This is me, and we need to change my name. Chances are, with all this, the judge will more likely, especially here in Texas. I know California, New York, there's a bunch of other states. Texas is extremely hard. This is going to make it easier for me a year down the road. Okay, so there's another reason why I'm doing it. And like I said, excuse my voice, I'm feeling sick, and I should be resting my voice. So, it's kind of neat. Doing business as. I can now do business as legally Jessica Annette Wilkerson, or whatever I got underneath that black marker. I figured this was important to share with you. Again, I'm not giving a legal advice, no. I'm not going to answer legal advice questions. If you can't find it, keep on trying Dr. Google. Let's just give you an idea. And chances are you'll have to go to your county courthouse. Oh, and I do recommend, when you go to your courthouse, Do not wear a belt, especially like this. You can sort of see all the metal. Then I got the belt buckle on top. I went. I know. Imagine, look at that. They're getting bigger. I almost got to stop calling them booblets. Right now they're booblets. They're still booblets. But man, they're getting. Anyway, don't wear a belt because that was embarrassing as hell. And I didn't even think about it because you go through that metal detector and went beep, 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 beep. The security guard had me take off my belt. Here I am undoing my belt, you know, in front of everybody. A big old line to get in the courthouse. That's embarrassing. So don't wear a belt when you go to the courthouse and do all this, if you're going to do it. I did it. I'm happy I did it. This is one step closer to my name change and all that. Like I said, I'm just now starting transition. This is going to bring me into more questions that I'm going to have to ask myself. Obviously, as a doing business as name, I don't need a business tax ID because it's all tied into mine. I'm just registered to do business as Jessica Annette. And I got JessicaAnnette.com. It's not, nothing's on it yet. You can go visit it. There's nothing on it. I'll probably work on putting blogs up there or something. I got net and org too. I got it with the hyphen or without the hyphen. But, so I got like 5 of them because it was like a discount. Which is sort of a business expense, I guess, if I wanted to do that. But I probably have to put business on there to use it as a business expense. Like I said, go to your courthouse. County clerk's office usually is the one that handles it. And it's probably going to be different. You could try calling them before you show up to save you a little bit of time so you know which office you're going to go to. Each county does it differently in your state. Once you get this done, filed, signed, all that good stuff, go to your bank or go to a bank, find out which one. If you're only going to use it like a savings account like I'm going to do, I mean, it's going to be a business account. I'm treating my transition as a business now. You know, putting aside so much a month, you know, for my facial surgery, you know, for my breast augmentation, if I need one. But I mean, the way these things are growing, I might not need one, so that might save me a few grand, which would be cool. I'm not going to complain. I'm not going to complain at all. If I could save me a few grand, maybe put it on my nose or something like that. I just don't like my nose. My chin, too. I don't know. Anyway, so I'll be treating it like a business. I'll treat myself as a business. My presentation, it all goes back to the presentation. This will also help my presentation in front of the judge when I go see the judge in about a year's time to actually get my name changed. But like I said, now Jessica Annette can receive checks, and the payroll of my next job, you know, write me out a check, Jessica Annette, a check. I can go to my bank cash it because I'm legally allowed from the courthouse to do business as. Makes sense. Gotta be careful what you're doing. Don't just jump out there and do it. Research the heck out of it. Like I said, I'm going to have to research how to do taxes and all that. I ain't going to try to do write-offs and stuff. Like I said, don't use estrogen as a business expense. I don't think that's going to work. You know, you're treating your transition like a business. There's some, you know, moments that you got to use common sense. I hope this helps some people out. Again, I had to document this. This is very important. This is going to affect me. I mean, it has affected me, but it's going to affect me even more in the future when I do change my name. I just figured I'd share what I did. What you do is going to be totally different. Maybe this will help somebody else out. But do the research. Google is going to be your best friend. The county clerk's office, too. Even if Google, I had a hard time on Google. The county clerk's office is going to be your best friend. And just be honest with them. You know, say, hey, you know, if I help somebody with makeup. You know, if I want to start, I'm going to go back Monday. I'm going to do another one, just Jessica Annette. I think it's easier with 2 syllables instead of using the last name, too. I just did the last name just for the fun of it. But I'm also going to do Jessica Annette, so it matches JessicaAnnette.com. But yeah, so double check everything. There are some legal aspects here I give no legal advice on. I'm just going to treat my transition, set aside some money, use my expenses wisely, so that Michael has some money and Jessica has some money, and Jessica is able to, add like a savings account for when the facial surgery comes, for when the breast augmentation, when the bottom surgery comes. Jessica will have sort of a fund, and Michael, until the name change happens, will help Jessica out, even though it's the same person. I'm allowed to. I hope I didn't confuse anybody with any of this. Just remember, it should be all good. Just double check your county clerk's office. We're going to help you out more than anything, because every state's different, every county's different, and you don't want to get into legally bounding trouble when you go see a judge to get your name changed in the future. So, with that being said, be true, be yourself. Until next time, peace.